everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today I'm taking a look at a game called Mystery of the Abbey. Now, this game, designed by Bruno Fedduti and Serge Leggett, is from Nojito Games, and is a reprint of a game that put Days of Wonder on the map. Days of Wonder is the original printer of Mystery of the Abbey, and so this is a tough thing to do. This is a almost 30 years old, I think, deduction game at this point in time. But Days of Wonder is known for their production, Mystery of the Abbey, and Nojito has to copy that or make it better, something along those lines. They have not had great success in this in the past. They did Cleopatra and the Society of Architects. Nojito did that one also from Days of Wonder, and even though theirs was more ornate and bigger, it just wasn't as good as the Days of Wonder version. Also, we need to take a look and see, does this game hold up? Deduction games are very big now. Does this one hold up over the test of time? So let's take a look at the game, and we'll be back. In the game, each player is going to get a sheet that shows all the possibilities for the murderer. And there is a card for each of the different people that are in the game. And so one of these cards is going to be secretly stuck under the board, and that person is the murderer. Now, these monks are broken up into different sections. There are 3 orders. We have Dominican, Franciscan, and Benedictine. And then there are fathers, brothers, and novices. Each of these monks is either bearded or clean-shaven, hooded or unhooded, or bellied and slender. And you can see they have symbols that show you that, just in case you're not quite sure, like, is this guy bellied or slender down here? I'm not 100% sure, but I can look at the symbol here. Now, I'm going to point out a couple of very serious flaws in this game. First of all, the game comes with a shield, which, as you can see, doesn't even come close to hiding it. You're going to have to... I don't know what they were thinking, because no one else can see your sheet. So we finally just folded our sheets in half and to put them behind the shield. Also, the shield gives you information here about the different stuff, which is kind of helpful. But it shows you the orders here, Benedictine, Franciscan, and Dominican. And you'll notice Dominican and Benedictine are both crosses, which can be confusing. But the order they're listed on in the player aid here is the opposite of what they are on the sheet. So you can see it's Benedictine, Franciscan, Dominican. Here it's Dominican, Franciscan, Benedictine, which will, if you're using this at all, and you should, you are going to make mistakes asking questions, especially when you ask the different types of monks. And this is a huge problem that greatly affects the game, all the things I just mentioned. Here is the Abbey itself. The game is going to proceed through a bunch of cards, and each round of the game they're going to have a certain number of turns on that card, and then at the end of the turns, everyone has to come back to the chapel here. But on your turn, you can move 2 spaces. So maybe I'll move in here. If you end up on a room with a name on it, or in some of the spots, you can take actions, which I'll talk about in just a second. But if you ever end up in the same space as somebody else, you can ask them a question. You can ask them any question that you want, basically, as long as it has something to do with the game, obviously. I can say, do you have 2 Benedictine monks in your hand? Have you crossed off Father Thomas? Whatever I might want to ask. And the person I ask a question to can either answer the question, or they can put their finger to their lips, saying they won't answer. If they do answer, they can ask me a question. If they refuse to answer, then they can't ask a question. Questions are out loud, and everyone can hear them. Now, everyone's going to start the game with some of the monk cards in their hand so that you can cross them off your own sheet. If you go and you sneak into somebody else's confessional here, or their own private quarters, you go into their private quarters, you can take a look and steal one of the cards from their hand. However, if they catch you in there and come in after you, you get sent back here for penance, basically losing a turn. You can go into confessional and do the same thing to the player whose color die it is, but then the die changes to your color. You can go to the parlor here, and the leftover cards that weren't split between players are put here, and if there's any left, you can take one of those and add it to your hand. You can go to the scriptorium and draw a card from the scriptorium, and here you will have these cards. Some of them are keep cards. Keep this and play it during a mass. that's in between rounds to give your neighbor one less card than normally required. Choose 2 players and look at a random suspect card of each. Switch the 2 cards before giving them back. Take another turn, which you can go 3 steps. Move your monk to an empty confessorium and immediately apply its effect. So you have these cards. Some you have to play right away, some you can keep. You can go to the Biblioteca if you are the person with the fewest monks in your hand. And there you will get a card that is incredibly powerful, like draw 3 scriptorium cards from the deck. 3 rather than 1. Take a random suspect card from each hand and look at them, then shuffle them and give 1 back. At the next mass, pass 1 less card than the other players. Secretly write the name of a suspect on a piece of paper. If later in the game someone else accuses your suspect of being the culprit, and your suspect turns out to be innocent, you immediately score 4 points. So that's the Biblioteca. Now, the whole thing about this game is getting points. So if you want to make an accusation, you can go here. Now, you don't have to make an accusation about who it is exactly, but you can say, hey, I think that the person is bellied, or I think that they are a father. And you'll take that token, and you're going to get points at the end of the game if you're correct. You can also accuse somebody directly. You can say, I'm pretty sure that it is Harold. If anyone has Harold in their hand, they show you. You can't accuse anyone if there's cards here, but once these cards are gone, you can do so. And you're going to lose points for making an incorrect accusation. Otherwise, the game is going to end. Now, I mentioned mass. In between each round, everyone has to go back here again. And during that phase, the first player marker will pass. Everyone's going to have to give a card to their neighbor. So you have to keep track of that sometimes. And as the game goes by, you will be passing more and more cards. Eventually, you're passing 6 cards to the person next to you. And eventually, someone's going to figure it out. And the game will end. And then whoever has the most points for the most, correct accusations and taking into effect negative points and other points from cards, whoever has the most points is the winner. Well, obviously you can see where my thoughts on components are. From the skinny abbots that fall over all the time to a map that's not completely clear. There's another piece of paper that shows you each room in the map. You go, okay. But the components, the sheets, I played one game of this where everyone crossed off everything because people mixed up those 2 orders of monks, and that's really easy to do in this game. And that reference guide, not only is it incorrect, the fact that it's too small, I'm sorry, that right there alone tells me to tell you not to buy the game. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it to have to try to fix the components of a game so I can play it properly. But let's take all that out of the way. Let's talk about my thoughts on Mystery of the Abbey as a whole. I don't think Mystery of the Abbey has stood up as well as I would like over the years. I love deduction games a lot. I remember the first time I played Mystery of the Abbey and I said, this is so much better than Clue. And it is. But there are some problems with the game. First of all, the wild swings of randomness from those cards, especially the Biblioteca cards. If you have fewer cards than other people, you're going to go take some of those. But just crazy cards. There's a card that roll a die. And whatever color you roll, that person has to give you all their cards. It's just stuff like that. There's constant swings of this, and you're passing cards. And there's a lot of deduction games out there nowadays. And they do these things in better ways without this insane randomness. Now, Bruno Fiduti is known for this kooky kind of crazy stuff. And they took out some of the worst ones. I no longer see the one where it says you have to hum for the, or chant for the rest of the game. That's just nonsensical. But the game doesn't feel as good as it used to. You move a couple spaces. You move a couple more. You move a couple more. You get yanked back. Sometimes a card will yank you back to the chapel. And that's really irritating when stuff like that happens. The questions themselves are fine. I mean, the whole I'm not going to answer isn't really useful because A, it's an answer of itself. I don't want to give you that information. But B, you don't get to ask a question back, and it kind of slows the game down a little bit. So I don't think the gameplay has stood up as well. I would still play it okay. Gameplay, I might give it a 6. But honestly, I'm giving this whole product here a 4. I cannot recommend it because the art is nice. They did a good job with the art. It looks good. It's a smaller box, and I don't have a problem with that at all. That they made it, maybe a lower production, but because of the confusion of marking stuff off, the idea of the fat and thin, and some of them are, and the symbols hard to see. If you have eyesight trouble at all, you're not going to love this at all. Trying to squint at all the stuff, it then combined with the kind of lackluster game that's not as good as it used to be, make this a product that I just really can't recommend right now. So that's Mystery of the Abbey. I'm very disappointed by this one. So maybe you like it, but the Mojito version, not for me. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.